everybody.
Hi.
Hi, we're now live, and it's Kathy Frey here from INCO, from the International Integrative Maternity Healthcare Organisation. And I can see the numbers clicking on in here. So welcome everybody as you come on in. And today we have got as our fascinating guest today is Linda Ho. Linda, say hello.
Hi, guys. I hope you have an amazing morning. Good to be here. I'm really excited to be on the series.
Absolutely. And as you are signing in, all our wonderful attendees, do feel free to go into that chat section and put in where you are from and your health professional role. That would be really great. And if you're not a maternity health professional, you're a mum who is pregnant, we'd love to hear about that as well. So yeah, let us know where you're from and your background. That would just be wonderful. And then also down the bottom, just a reminder that there is a Q&A button down there. So you're welcome to put any questions up for Linda at any stage through the webinar. The format today is that I'm going to shortly hand over to Linda, and she will be putting up a PowerPoint presentation that she'll be going through, and then we'll do some Q&As at the end, but we'll make sure that we definitely get through everybody's questions. So that's all good. But let me just do a little bit of an introduction to Linda. She's actually on the same time zone as me, which is rare in these seminars. So that's cool, but she'll talk more about her story. And Linda Ho is known as the Manifestation Queen, and she's the CEO of Abundant Mindset, and that's a lot of what she does in her day-to-day work is mindset work. So she's going to be talking about that. She's an NLP trainer, hypnosis trainer, NLP coach, master timeline therapist, and Ho'oponopono practitioner, which is from Hawaii. She'll talk more about that. Also a registered nurse, which is from way back in the beginning. And she worked for many years in gynecology and maternity and neonatal care. These days she's a mother of two gorgeous little children, 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, so that keeps her busy. With it, and they live in Mount Maunganui, which is a beautiful sunny area, coastal area of New Zealand. And that's where she runs her events and trainings and online coaching and one-on-one sessions, etc. And she also teaches professionals about mastering mind, and so she teaches the teachers as well. And also the chairperson for her story in Tauranga, which is the local area where she lives, and so that's be interesting to hear about. That's like a organization that's to do with empowering the empowering woman. And so I'm going to let her tell more about her story, and we're going to be particularly focusing today on hypnobirthing and how we as health professionals can help our clients create that birth of their dreams. And I think that even when you've been around hypnobirthing for a long time, there's just always more that you can learn and more ideas that you can put in place. So that's what today's all about. And so just to remind everybody, do go into the chats, and we'd like to know where you're from and your role. And so I'm going to hand over now and welcome to our lovely Linda.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Hi, guys. So I will share with you a little bit about my beginning of my journey, or what led me to do what I do today. So when I started, I was a registered nurse in Germany, and I have a dad which is manic depressive, and after multiple years and lots of bad relationships, because I was attracting people like him, I realized that there is something going on within me because I'm attracting those people. Yeah, I mean, it's just so long you can blame other people and think, oh yeah, it's it's because he's like that, and this is because of this. But at some stage, if you keep repeating the same kind of story, you kind of have to think to yourself, like, okay, what is my part within that I keep attracting that? And that's made me aware of that there is a pattern going on, and I have a family pattern, and I need to break that. And it had something to do with the relationship with me and my dad. And that, got me on the journey of really mindset and emotions. Also the Ho'oponopono, because Ho'oponopono is, it's a cleansing tool, but also like a forgiveness ritual, which comes from Hawaii. And that was one of the main points I had to do. I had to forgive my dad for everything what happened, and really heal that relationship to to become whole, and to choose people because I'm centered within myself, and I truly learned to love myself. And that really started my journey on everything. But I will go into hypnobirthing. It's a very exciting topic, and I myself gave birth with hypnobirthing and became a hypnosis trainer afterwards. I think, I learned hypnotherapy after my daughter was born, and really learned the power of it. And I feel I reaped the benefits of hypnobirthing, not necessarily in my first birth, whereas my midwife, she would say otherwise. She said I had an amazing birth and it was beautiful, but there was still some inner work I had to do. And I really could reap the fruits of that training and that learning, and then being a hypnotherapist myself, really coach myself through my own birth. And that was so empowering to really get that power back handed to me and experience that. I will go into the presentation and share the screen with you guys. Okay, cool. So yeah, if you have any question or something, like Kathy said, just pop it in the box, and we will I will answer it either afterwards or during the presentation. So hypnobirthing, and how to create a client's birth of their dreams, or your own birth of your dreams, if you're pregnant. So planning your birth, I want you to really imagine you would have that magic wand, and you can create your perfect birth experience the way you want, everything, the way you like it. And really visualize, how would that look like? How would that look like for you having your perfect birth? Where would you be? What would it sound like? What would it smell like? Who would be around you? And visualize it, like really make it vivid, make the picture bright and crispy, and, draw it into you, like really visualize it and attach your feelings to it, because that's how we also create things and manifest things. So even when you want to manifest something else, the best thing to do is really to visualize it and bring all the senses to it, like the feeling. How would you feel if you would have that amazing birth? There are some births where women have like an orgasmic even experience, and it's like an opportunity to heal completely and transcend, into higher realms. So if you could do and have whatever it would be, what would it be? And even if you think that's crazy, like, I listened yesterday to a podcast, and they talked about, there is a Russian lady, and she does programs where women birth in the Black Ocean with dolphins. Like, like nothing is impossible. Like, go wild, like dream. What would it be like? And, just see what can you make work for yourself? Like, what is possible for you, and work around that. But don't be afraid to dream big, especially if you have your first child. You can build up to that, imaginary, like amazing, even maybe possibly with dolphins, like once we can travel again. I think anything is possible, and unless you're not really putting it all out there, what you want to experience and how that's supposed to be like, you just limit yourself. You're holding yourself back from that amazing experience you could have. And that's why I'm so passionate about, because I wish I would have known that so much more before my first birth, to really go big and go hard, to experience whatever I want, and whatever, I want to imagine. And when you, as a professional guiding your clients, yeah, really tell them like about the magic one. Like, because, you know, when we think about magic, we think about unlimitless, but we as people and as souls, we are unlimitless. But we were made believe we weren't. And I think we need to go back to step into that power and really um, empower our ladies again, empower our mothers, you know, and empower ourselves that yes, we can have and experience whatever we want, even when we give birth. So then break it down a little bit, you know, about little things like where do you want your birth to be? Is it, you know, home, birthing center, hospital, bathtub? I didn't put the dolphins in there because I literally listened to it yesterday and my presentation was already done. But, you know, there are so many possibilities out there, and, you know, go on Google, you know, crazy places where people birthed, you know, and have a look what's out there, you know, because that will really give you really an idea of what's even possible. And, you know, I was, you know, I was a nurse, but, you know, I didn't have that much experience about the possibilities out there, but I knew I want to be at home when I was giving birth, because, you know, I knew the hospital can be quite stressful sometimes, depends what doctor is on, you know, there might be new doctors, and when people feel fear, they're transferring their fear to you. You can feel their energy. That's why for me personally, it was important to be at home, to have chosen people around. But, you know, I knew we were close to the hospital in case, you know, we need it, and to choose something what's perfect for you. You know, if you feel safe in a birthing center or in a hospital, that's fine too. Like, anything is perfect as long as it's perfect for you, because you are the one giving birth and you need to be feeling safe. You need to be feeling like you have everything you need around you, and you can create your perfect birth the way you want to experience it, because it's all about you. And, you know, when we as professional working with someone who's pregnant, it's all about their imagination, like about how they want to experience, because birth is a very special experience. You know, it's we don't birth every year. It's you know, usually a lot of people having like what, 1 to 3 children, sometimes 4, and only a few have more than that these days. So it's an experience you're going to have a few times throughout your life, or maybe just once. So it should be something special, and it should be the way you want to experience it. You know, how should the lighting be? You know, candles, salt lamps, Turkish mosaic lamps, you know, dimmed light, normal light, you know, candlelight. Like, what is it you want? What kind of sound, you know, would relax you, empower you? Or also, what kind of sound can you tolerate when you feel stressed? You know, what helps you to come down again? You know, and there are different things like meditation music, empowering words, you know, and your partner can help with that too. You know, you can ask them, or, you know, as a professional, you can encourage the pair, you know, that the husband, the partner, the woman, the pregnant woman can ask, can tell how would she felt encouraged. You know, what words would she want to hear to feel empowered? What words would she want to hear to feel less stressed, to feel calm? You know, what will help her to feel in a certain way? And yeah, just help her to ease into it, you know, to really just breathe and relax into it, you know. Piano music, rock music, you know, whatever is working for you. You know, if you like rock music or something upbeat or something and it relaxes you, that's fine. It doesn't have to be traditional. That's why it's so important, again, to go back to our clients, you know, the person who's pregnant, like, what is it you need to listen to hear to? A hypnobirthing recording, you know, which will remind you to breathe, you know, to focus on your body opening up, you know, because our bodies are made for this. And I think in the medical profession, I've seen a lot of times where women were made so afraid and made feel like their body wasn't made for this. Their body can't do it. But that's rubbish, right? Our bodies are made for this, and we wouldn't have so many people on earth if that wouldn't be the truth. So it's very important to give that power back to our ladies and say, like, your body's been made for this. And you need to trust that, and you need to believe that. And then hypnobirthing, really focusing on opening up, you know, the cervix, opening up and talking to the baby. then, make a decision about smells. Do you want to have a nice scent, maybe flowers around, essential oil diffuser, candles, who do you want to have part of that experience? Who do you want to have around? And don't be afraid to send people out you don't want to have around. I think, some mother-in-laws would like to be, around, but some people would feel uncomfortable, or the father, or whatever, the father-in-law. Um, Usually want to try to have the father of the baby around, because it's also a very special experience for them. But you always have to go back to you, who do you want to have around? And, you need to feel safe, you need to feel relaxed. So you don't need someone around who makes you feel uncomfortable, or who makes you stressed or negative or anxious. So you want to make sure you're keeping those people. They can come later, once everything is done and you had your time through that birthing experience and with your baby. And then how do you want your partner to support, or the support person to assist you? My husband, when we were giving birth the first time, he said, "You okay? You're okay." He was keep telling me that I was okay. And I was like, I don't feel fucking okay. So don't tell me that, you can tell me I will be okay. I can believe that. So it's really important to go back to that lady, to the, to your client, to the pregnant person, and ask them, like, how do you want me to encourage you? How do you want me to guide you? Do you want me to say something, or do you want me just to hold you? Do you want me to stroke your back, your hair? Like, really get back and ask, how do they need to be supported? It's very important to pick that person, that mom, up where she is, and support her the way she needs it. Because a lot of time we assume and we're doing something because we think we would like it, but that's not how it works. We're all individuals, and that's why it's so important to go back and ask mom, the lady who's just about to give birth, what do you need? Like, how can I support you? And then, afterwards, how do you want to make sure everything is discussed? There are some people that even leave the cord on, till the cord falls off itself. There's, I think it's called like the blue lotus, or you can leave the cord on till it's finished pulsating, and then cutting it later. Or some people like to cut it straight away. Discuss that. So there's nothing in question. There's nothing you need to worry about. You giving birth, or you supporting your lady to give birth, and you don't want to have anything unanswered which might stress her out, and she thinks, oh, but I didn't want her to have it like that, I wanted to have it differently. So make sure you're covering all questions, even like things which come straight afterwards. And it's just beautiful, when everyone is okay, to give the baby to mom, just skin to skin. You need to imagine that little baby came out of this beautiful, calm, peaceful environment in that water bubble, and all of a sudden it's out in the cold. And we had a really nice environment because we only had candle lights on. It was dark, so it was quite a, I think Maxie didn't even know he was out when he was out. He was still like, kind of like, he wasn't even, some stage we were like, okay, you gotta breathe now, buddy, and then he kind of like picked up, and he was fine. His skin was fine and everything, but he was so relaxed that he didn't even realize he arrived. And that was really beautiful, because it's such a gentle way also for that soul to be birthed into this world and be welcomed into this world, and not, sometimes, in the hospital, headlights on straight away, rubbing. It's pretty, pretty drastic, and when they have an issue, of course, we need to act, and we need to help them, and we need to make sure they can breathe and everything is there, what they need. But if everything is normal and they're okay, and they've been okay all the way through, then there is really no reason for that. Then it's nice to really give that time for mom and bubs to say hello to each other, outside of being in mommy's body. So when you're planning the birth, this is the perfect time to also watch if someone, your client, has limiting beliefs or negative emotions. Because when you're planning something, you can tell in their face, are they worried? Are they scared? Do they have, maybe they have a belief like, oh, I can't do that. The body is not, my body can't function like that. you know, or things like that. You know, especially for women who went through IVF, you know, they already thought, well, my body could already not get pregnant. How will my body possibly will give birth? You know, that can be very real fears and beliefs, which are so strong that they create these fears. And I'm not sure if you have ever experienced anyone with fear in a hospital. That has been my experience as a nurse. When people are in fear, they usually have a horrible experience. And usually, if something goes wrong in general, it goes wrong with those people. And it's almost like they're bringing these experiences to themselves. That's why it's so important to address those things and really go through them. And, you know, just ask, okay, like, what is it you believe, you know? And then find out where it's coming from, because usually it's been handed down. We have maybe heard something. Between 0 and 7 is something called the imprinting period, where people, like children, they just take everything on as their truth. So they hear it, and without a filter, it will be taken on as their truth. And when they're teenagers, there is a little bit of a filter, but you're modeling people. So if someone you modeled had like a horrible birth and they say, oh my God, my body could not do it, you know, they can take on this belief for themselves. And then they say, oh, my body can't do it. And then they experience all those horrible experiences, which will just really prove them that that belief is true. And, you know, in NLP, we learned, and I found that to be very true. I can see that over and over again. When we have a limiting belief like that, we keep creating those experiences, because our body is telling us in your subconscious mind there is something you're believing which isn't good, and you need to let go of it. But unless you're not learning the lesson, because usually a positive lesson is attached to that, you will keep experiencing the same things. You know, has any one of you ever experienced, it's like you're having the same situation over and over again, but with different people and different experience, like different environment, but it's kind of the same act, just different actors. And that's because there is a limiting belief, there is a negative emotion behind it, recreating you that over and over again. And, you know, what you can ask yourself is like, how does it make me feel? What am I feeling? What are my thoughts? What I'm telling myself? Like, you know, I'm not good enough. I can't do that. Yeah, you know, other people can do it, not me. These are all limiting beliefs. And as soon as you get rid of them, things will change. You know, the way you experience things will change. The way what will happen for you in the future will change. You know, just a really good example, you know, there was a guy who was always mugged, you know, and he said, like, look, I even managed to get mugged when I go to places where no one else get mugged. And, you know, they worked on what is it, like, what is the belief behind you getting mugged, you know? And there was like a belief like, you know, I deserve that. So once that belief was removed, that person never got mugged again, because, you know, certain experience we attract to us. So in birth, when we have fear of having a horrible birth, we need to release that fear, because otherwise, you know, we might attract that experience into our field, or it's going to be far more stressful as it should be, or, you know, would have to be. So this is, the planning period is really the perfect time to observe your ladies. You know, if you're a mom, observe your mind, journal, you know, write it all down. What are you feeling? What are you thinking? What are you saying to yourself? What are you saying to your friends? You know, because you can hear a lot in language, what's going on within a person. Yeah, what's coming up in the planning process, and stay around people who support your vision. Like if you have a vision, you want to have a home birth, you know, you want to do it in a certain way, and you have, you know, someone in the family maybe which is completely against it. They say you should be in a hospital, this is the only right way. You don't have to spend much time with those people. Stay around people who support your vision, because those people, they will just feed fear in you in some kind of way because of their own fear, and they mean it well. Usually people always mean it well. Like the intent of other people is always high. There's always a positive intent behind those things, but they're speaking from their own experience or from their own beliefs, and they might be not yours, and you don't have to take them on. So, you know, make a priority, especially towards the last few weeks, you know, going towards birth. Stay around people who support your vision, you know, and who can help you and, you know, feed you more encouraging and positive things, rather than any fear-based people. or pessimists, because we probably all know someone who's, Googling the worst of the worst things, and then they live their life from that fear over and over again, because with every situation they remember something, someone, somewhere happened. And, you can find as many or even more positive experience where something went amazingly well. And it's important to focus on what you want rather on what you not want, because you want to, what we focus on grows, right? So we want to focus on having this amazing birth, having that ecstatic experience, and or supporting our ladies to have that, and you as a practitioner, you can also visualize that for your ladies, and you can do that exercise even with them together, when you see them 5 minutes together, like, okay, let's together visualize, that everything goes beautiful and everything goes smooth, and you see everyone laughing and feeling good, and seeing all those things you want to see. Okay, how to help a woman to create the perfect birth. Empower your ladies, it really all goes back to empowering. Our bodies have been giving birth since the beginning of time, and a lot of people arguing that we overpopulated, we wouldn't be here if that wouldn't be the case. So really giving back that power to our ladies, and not thinking you have to be in a hospital and otherwise it's not going to work, because our bodies are made for this. And your midwife will check you and they will know, and if your baby doesn't lie in the perfect, position, there are yoga exercise you can do before, and if your baby flips back into, the right position, then there is, there are much more possibilities out there for you to have birth where you want to have birth. Prevention, massaging the belly, the perineum, the labia, to prevent rips from happening. And what I found very interesting, because no one taught me that when before I was giving birth, and I thought I was really well educated. I worked in a maternity ward, I worked in the gynae, I worked on neonates, so I felt like I was as well prepared as I could. I was working as a nanny, when I was traveling, so I thought I kind of knew quite a bit. I thought I'm well prepared. And what no one told me, when you're giving birth, the baby comes out and the baby goes back in. So, make sure, like, little things like this, you share that with your ladies, because when I was giving birth and no one told me that before, I was freaking out. I was like, the baby's going back, and you were stressed, you weren't thinking straight, you were going through that experience. And I was like, wow, no one ever mentioned that, the baby comes a little bit out and then the baby goes back, which is perfect because it's stretching the area so you don't rip. But if you don't know it, it might freak you out. So make sure you're sharing little things which might be for you as a practitioner, as a midwife, so normal and so common. But as a as a lady which births the first time, it might be not that common. So it's very important to share those little things with your client, and as a mother. Just know that that's happening. And you can ask with other ladies who already gave birth. Everyone talks about the poo, no one talks about the stretching period. So it's good to know those little things. And encourage your ladies to create connection to their child. Babies can hear, I think they start hearing from the 18th week, so they can hear very early on. Like, talk to them, tell them, like, hey, it's time to get ready, so maybe you can turn around, or talk to them, create a bond with them, and tell them how you're imagining that birth to be. And you can even explain them they're going to go through that canal, and it might be feel a little bit tight there, to push through, but just know, like, look, you're made for this, I was made for this, and together we will do that beautifully. And have that daily connection with your child. And just tell it, like, how happy you are to meet it out here, and that everything will be good, and that it will be a transition, into a new way of living. And also connect to your body. I'm not sure if any of you heard, but there was this Japanese guy who researched water, and how he found out that water reacts to our thoughts, water reacts to what we say to it, and our bodies are made mainly out of water. So it's really important to also connect to our bodies, and be grateful. Your body is stretching and growing a human being. So have that connected to your body, and it will also help you, that whole self-love, because the body is changing during pregnancy. You might get stretch marks, and some women don't, anything is possible and anything is fine. And just having that connection to your body and practicing self-love, doing that pregnancy period and afterwards as well. I know a lot of women, think, oh, their belly is like all wobbly, but you just gave birth to another human being. You made a person. That's a very special and very beautiful and amazing thing, and you need to remember that. And if you're a practitioner, you need to remember your ladies that they're just created a miracle, really, and the body created a miracle, and cut the body some slack, and really practice that positive body image, and connection, and practicing gratitude, like saying nice things to your body, because water is reacting to our thoughts and to what we say, and our body is mainly made out of water. So, if your body is reacting to what you say, what do you think, how it's going to go back to its normal size if you're nice to it or if you're not nice to it? You want to say the things you want to say. So keep that in mind. That's actually one of my favorite exercise, creating a birth book, or a board. And you can do that. You can do one or the other or both, whatever you want. When you have a board, you can put it somewhere where you can see it everywhere. You can create it with or without your partner, or even have like sides, one side what you want to experience, one side what your partner want to experience, and have a picture of both of you. And also put the words like, what do you want to feel, because, a lot of people, they say what they want, but they say what they want because they think of the things that thing would make them feel. So it's very important to write down, what do you want to feel when you experience those things? You want to cut the middleman, right? Because it's more about the feeling. Like when I hear a lot of people say, I want money. I want money. No, actually, you don't want money. Like, what if you would have like a truckload of money, but you couldn't do anything without it? It's not really the money you want. It's the things you can do with money. It's the freedom of choice. So it's really important also with the birth. How do you want to feel? You want to feel ecstatic. You want to feel, excited, peaceful. You want to feel in tune, and have that amazing, orgasmic experience having birthing your baby, in the most beautiful way. So write those things down, on your vision board or in your birth book. And if you have a birth book, go through it every day. It's about really seeing those pictures and, aligning with them, because what we read every day becomes part of our brain. That's how brainwashing works. When people over and over say something, a lot of time it just becomes part of who you are. Like it just becomes your new norm, unless you like absolutely against it and it's everything like, nah, but that's why vision boards and birth books work so well, because you will see them all the time. You see what you want to experience, you connect with them, and when you look at it, you feel something. You get those feelings, that excitement feelings, that happy feelings, the joy of holding your baby. Everything went the way you want. It's a peaceful environment, and you're sharing that moment with the people you love. Stick words on it, quotes, colors, picture, anything what gives you that feeling you want to experience on that day. And create a music list. I thought it was really helpful, creating 3 different music lists. One you would enjoy when you're excited, one you would listen to when you're stressed, and it would lighten your mood up, and one which you would listen to move your fear and negative emotions to feel better. So, play around with it, see, because, you might feel like this on one day, and another day you feel completely different. And what you need and what you need to listen to on that other day might be different from that first day when you're excited, right? So it's good to have like a repertoire of lists, which you can hear with, when I feel sad, I like to listen to this. When I feel nervous, I like to listen to this. And when I feel excited, I like to listen to this. So have those options there. So no matter how you feel, you have you have a list there, which will help you to move your mood to a more productive and a more peaceful um, state of mind. So the benefits of hypnosis and as tool for birth, it's really relaxation, releasing stress and negative emotions, feeling confident and capable and prepared. I feel like that's really like a really important point. And I thought for myself, and what I can see in other ladies is the most empowering one. You are made for this. Your body can do this. You can do that without pain relief, without anything, because your body was made to experience that, and when I had my own experience, I kind of thought, okay, when it was really painful, that was one push and then it was over, and then you were just flooded with oxytocin and all those happy hormones, and you were feeling so good. I know of other ladies having no pain whatsoever. Like my sister, she just gave birth like that. She thought it was the most amazing experience. And other women, again, having this orgasmic experience, even like, anything is possible. And don't make your birth story or your, don't make your story dependent on what you hear from other people. Aim for the highest. Like when I was giving birth, I didn't know about that orgasmic experience, that this is possible, that this is a possibility and women experiencing that. Because sometimes when we don't know things, we'll limit ourselves to the things we know. And that's why I'm so excited and happy to share that with you, that having this orgasmic experience while giving birth, I mean, who doesn't, right? Like, who doesn't want that? Imagine you giving birth, you having an orgasm, which is amazing anyway, and then you're flooded with those happy hormones. Like, I mean, this is like a, picture perfect birth, right? So know that's possible, and don't limit yourself to any other stories. Aim high. Like Les Brown says, shoot for the moon. At least you land amongst the stars when you're missing. So always shoot high. Hypnosis is a tool to retrain your brain and rewiring you from fear to confidence. You can rewire anything with hypnosis in your brain. It's very fascinating. I've been doing with some lady gastric band hypnosis. So they're visualizing they're having a gastric band. So imagine when this works, like they're visualizing they're having a operation, and then they believe that and they live their life afterwards like they did, but healthier without the risk. So you can imagine what else is possible with hypnosis. Like we can rewire our brain to that our body can just open up like roses, like rose petals just open up, and creating that space for this baby to come through, peacefully, lovingly, and just smoothly. You need to listen to it though, regular, over and over again. You need to train your brain, and best times in the morning and in the evening, because we have that little window when we wake up and just before we go to bed, where our brain state is like already like kind of in a hypnotic state, because we're kind of falling to sleep or we just came out of sleep. And that's when the subconscious mind is best and most suggestible. So whenever you want to change something or retrain or rewire your brain in some way, these are the best times to do it. And that doesn't mean you cannot listen to it in between. If you have a little bit afternoon nap, you can listen to that too. It eliminates or minimizes pain and stress. It really just gives the power back and just shows you what the body is capable of and how powerful our mind is. When someone's thinking, oh my God, it's going to hurt, then it's going to hurt. But if someone thinks like, no, my body's going to open up, it's going to be amazing, I'm going to have this orgasmic experience, you're going to have such a nicer, better, and more peaceful experience than the person who is stressed. And we as practitioners, our job is to be really calm, to be grounded, and to transfer our peace and our calmness to our ladies, and we can even listen with them together, when it's going towards labor, to really calm down too. I know when we in the beginning of our journey in the career and we're supporting, we can be nervous too, and that's normal. We are humans, right? But make it a, you know, priority for yourself, you know, to learn some breathing exercise, you know, come down and really ground yourself, because you are there to be her rock, you know, you are there to guide her, you are there to give her all your knowledge, and so she knows she's safe and she can choose what she wants and has your professional support. Less fatigue during labor, and that's really true, you know. I gave birth straight away after I got up. I had a shower, I washed my hair, and then I walked out, you know, and you know, we were all at home. It's really amazing. It's just fascinating how beautiful and amazing it works. Reduces and often eliminates the need for chemical anesthesia and episiotomies and many other interventions. So it just minimizes the need of having medical intervention done, and it really brings back the power again to the woman. You know, your body can do that, you're powerful, your mind is powerful, and we as professionals can support them on their journey and just know that, yeah, they are made for this, and you know, I will guide her, and you're obviously checking the baby, and if you need something or if you need help there, you know, there's always a possibility to reach out and, you know, get to the hospital. But, you know, a lot of times there's really no need for it. Shortens the opening and thinning period, you know, it really helps to open up. And again, you know, you're visualizing your cervix is opening up like flower petals, and just creating that space, you know, opening up the cervix for the baby to come through. Minimizing the risk of hyperventilation due to the conscious breathing techniques. So they're learning already consciously to breathe, you know, to take deep breath and just release, you know, and just feel into the body. The body will tell you what to do. You know, I mean, people start pushing, you know, and they even say you don't need to push, you just need to let go. You just need to allow your body to guide you, because the body was made for it, and the body tells you exactly what you need to do, and just follow that instincts. Partner is involved and has an active job during birth, you know. Tell your partner, or you know, your client's partner, you know, to make sure he talks with his wife or his partner. How do you want me to support you? You know, what do you want me to tell you? You know, and do that during birth. You know, stroke her. You know, support her the way she needs to be supported, and be active. You know, and it's so beautiful that we have this these days. You know, back in the days, the man was waiting outside of the room, he wasn't even part of it, and it's such a shame, because it's also his baby, you know, and it's so much more beautiful to have that experience together, you know, because I mean, when I was looking at my husband holding our children for the first time, I could see he was flooded with hormones too, you know, and he experienced the birth the way I experienced it, because he was next to me, holding me, you know, and supporting. And I think it's very important that partners are involved, you know, if they can be, you know, if they're together. And, you know, sometimes I understand that's not possible, or, you know, things are difficult. And then it comes again back, you know, how does the woman wants to experience her birth. Baby arrives much better in the world, which results in better eating and sleeping routines. You know, when the baby feels safe all the way through, the experience, the breastfeeding, the latching on, you know, the bonding with the mother, it's just so much more easier and more smoother than, you know, when they were taken away from the woman straight away, you know, ripped out and, you know, things like that. And I understand sometimes that's necessary because we need to help them, but a lot of times it isn't. And for those times, it would be nice just to give mother and baby that space, you know, and just allow them to have that natural, beautiful experience. Overcoming negative emotions. This one is really important. And, you know, identifying if someone has some beliefs, some negative emotions. And when we're following mainstream and also, you know, hospitals, there's a lot of that, you know, fear mongering going on. And I personally feel in New Zealand is probably not as bad as some other countries. But, you know, a lot of times, you know, they would very quickly like, oh, you know, we have to intervene, you know, and it really depends also on the person who's looking after you, you know, because if you're having an anxious person or you're having a very relaxed person, I as a nurse could tell who like which other nurse was on the ward after I came, because I could tell the way the patients were reacting. When there was someone very anxious, they were ringing the whole time. They were very stressed out, they were more in pain. Because like when you're stressed out, you just experience everything so much more worse. So that's why it's really important to pick that up, those limiting beliefs, those negative emotions. And things like I can't do that, or to me always the worst happens. That's a horrible belief to have. And it's important to get rid of that before that experience happened. Before the birth. Negative emotions like fear, hurt, trauma. Some women might have had a very traumatic first experience, where there was a lot of pain, things didn't move as quickly along as they should, and they were in pain so many hours that there is a lot of negative emotions still stored in the body. So we need to pick them up and find out what they are, ask, what is it you're saying? What are the words? As soon as I can't, or to me, that's always what's happening. Like all of those things are limiting beliefs, and there are negative emotions stored behind them. And then we have like the negative emotions, anger, fear, sadness, hurt, guilt. These are all negative emotions. So we want to make sure we're getting rid of all of those. Educate them that these are only beliefs. These are not her truth. She picked them up somewhere and they are not her truth. And as soon as you get rid of them, they will disappear. And then how would it feel like to feel strong, to feel empowered, and know deep down that you are born to have the most transcendental birth experience? Really make them think about that perfect outcome and keep bringing them back, especially for people with anxiety, because they're thinking about the worst possible thing. Anxiety has all to do with fear from the future, and sometimes based off past experience. That's why it's important to get rid of those experiences first. And then if a client has a deeper birth trauma due to previous birth, recommend a professional. Like if that's not what you do, and you're usually not helping people to get rid of negative emotions, then just tell them to find a coach, or can get in touch with me or other coaches which help to get rid of negative emotions and limiting beliefs. You might just need a session or two to just get rid of all of that, so you can just move into birth planning and labor more peaceful, and you think like, oh, okay. And it's really, as soon as you get rid of those beliefs and they don't feel true to you anymore, because the negative charge behind them will be gone. So it will be like a past memory, like, that happened in the past, but it doesn't affect you anymore. So different release techniques. So one is really, name the emotion, find out, the limiting belief, and then find out where it's coming from. You always want to find out the root cause. We are triggered in the present, not because what's happening in the present, but because what happened in the past. So we need to find the root cause. Unless we find the root cause, this thing will keep coming back. So, it can be something which happened when you were a child, something you experienced with your parents, something you've seen in the school, or it happened to a friend of yours. These all can be root cause experience where you took on those beliefs, or it can be trauma you experienced yourself in the past. And then you go back to that time, and you need to ask yourself, what is a positive learning you need from that? Because when you have the right positive learning, and positive learnings like, sometimes it can be, you need to forgive someone, or I need to speak up, or I'm good enough, I'm strong enough, yes, I can do that. These are all empowering learnings for you to know that, yes, you can do this. And learnings will be different for everyone. So it's important to ask yourself, what is a positive learning I need to let go of that emotion or that belief? You can have hypnosis, their negative emotion release hypnosis. And then at the same time, we're feeding positive suggestions to implement in your mind, like you are strong, you're empowered, you can experience whatever you want. You can have an orgasmic birth, and you can suggest those in hypnosis and make them part of your programming. So you're rewiring your brain. Logical approach, think it through, is that really your truth? Is that really what's happening? And you will see more women have amazing, have actually normal birth, and, no intervention, then people have intervention. So a lot of times a fear is like an illusion of things which actually not very common, or we've seen them once, but that's like a once in, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people. So it's not really common. Journal and meditate, like, write it all down, write down what you feel. When we're writing it down, we're putting it on paper. So we're taking it out of ourselves and putting it down. Like, that already helps a little bit. And you can just write it down, like, okay, that's what I feel like. Where's it coming from? Write that down too. And you can even meditate on that. Like, okay, I want to let that go. Like, what do I need to do to let that go? Ask yourself empowering questions. What do I need to do to have an orgasmic experience when I give birth? What do I need to do to let go of those emotions? What do I need to do to feel empowered and safe? These questions will lead you to the answers you need to get there, and sometimes it will be, okay, I need help. I need someone who guides me through that, and for me, it took me really to become a trainer to be able to release some of my own emotions, because, then I was trained so well that I was like, okay, I feel this, where it's coming from, and I could release it myself. But, that takes training and repeating, like anything else, like going to the gym. You're not going once and have a six pack. You have to keep doing it to kind of have that results. And the same as with emotional release techniques and, with managing and mastering your emotions and your mind. Then we have Ho'oponopono. Some of you might know they're the 4 phrases, I love you, please forgive me, thank you, and forgive me, thank you, please forgive me, hang on, I love you, please forgive me, thank you, and I'm sorry, exactly. And in Ho'oponopono, it's very similar to NLP. They're saying whatever we experience is a part of us. But Ho'oponopono goes even further. They say even when someone tells you about someone else having trouble, this is also part of you, because it's all in your field. So it's really about taking fully responsibility for everything. And it's not about blaming yourself, but it's about taking responsibility for that part of you which attracted this experience into your field. Because even when we hear about something, it's in our field, because that's why we're hearing it. So, and they're using those phrases, you can concentrate and focus on that part of you which is creating those experiences, or, hearing those things, and just, you just kind of repeating, I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry. And those 4 phrases, you keep repeating them and repeating them. And that's, that's like a cleansing tool. You're cleansing that part of you. There's EFT, tapping, also really helpful. I'm personally not trained in tapping, but I use it myself a lot. NLP, it's rewiring your brain, finding out where things coming and associating and de-associating with things so we can, work better with them. Timeline therapy, it's really going back, finding the root cause and releasing it there. And there are other techniques as well, and it's about finding what works best for you. Everyone is, again, different, and some have amazing experience with NLP, and some have amazing experience with timeline therapy, and other people prefer EFT. There are so many different techniques, but make it a priority. If you do have some stuff going on and you feel you can't let go of it, find someone who helps you. You will be served so much better, and your baby as well, of course. And here's my last slide. It's inspired by the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and also inspired by Hypnobirthing Victoria, because they had a similar one. And, we need to make sure that all of those things are covered so we can go to the next level. First, the physiological need, mother and baby, the basic needs are met. They have food, they have water, they have shelter, they have oxygen, because obviously when that's not there, then, everything else falls through. Safety, feeling safe, feeling in a safe environment, having the right people around, having your midwife around, when you're giving birth. I know my midwife with the second birth, it went so fast that I was like, okay, you gotta come, I think I'm pushing already, like, you gotta hurry up. To have everyone there so you feel safe and you feel supported, and you make sure as a professional for your clients to feel supported. belongingness and love needs, that mother and baby have a feeling of belonging, and mother wants to feel cared for and supported, by everyone, by the partner, by the family, by the friends, and by you as a professional. And mother is respected, again, asking the mother what she needs to be supported. What does she need to feel empowered? What does she need to feel safe? What does she need to feel confident? Asking her where we need to support her and how we need to support her, without assuming anything. And then the last one is really, mother has realized her full birthing potential, and really uses that birth as transcendental experience, to self-actualize and heal. My previous coach always said, birthing is a healing experience. And also when we're carrying the baby, when the baby is inside us, there's no much space to store emotions. And that's why a lot of women are also very emotional, because everything has to come out. Everything has to be experienced and let out, because there is no space. And you're sharing your body and also your emotional body with another human being, right? So to really know that and allow everything to come out. So if you are very emotional, let it all out, cry, because that's an amazing healing experience. Like, your body wants to release, and it wants to release everything you were holding on to from the past. So allow it all to come out, because you will experience an amazing healing experience, and you will be so much more peaceful afterwards. So yeah, that's the end of the slideshow.
Oh, that is just absolutely so excellent. Boy, you had so much information in there, Linda. It was just wonderful. Listening to you, that you could easily sit here for another couple of hours, and there'll be more stuff that we'd pick up on, because it's just fantastic. Look, I've got one of the questions that's come through, which is a really good one, and I'll just read it out to you. And this is from Katie. She goes, "Hi, Linda. I too teach hypnobirthing, just a newbie really. But what I am beginning to realize is that sometimes hypnobirthing can contribute to birth trauma for some women, because it sets couples up with that idealistic view of birth, especially those who are sort of outcome focused. E.g., if I do this, then this will happen. If I don't do this, then that will happen. Or those women that seek much control in their lives. So her question is, how do you deliver hypnobirthing in a way that lessens the chances of contributing to the woman feeling like they have failed or were not good enough, because they interpreted that the end result is that they didn't birth right? And it's a really valid question.
Yeah, and that's a really good one. I actually experienced it for myself, because when I did hypnobirthing, I had this, it's going to be pain-free, it's going to be amazing, it's just going to swish through. And then I was feeling pain, and I was really pissed off. I was like, fucking liars! They said I'm not going to be in pain, and now I'm in pain, and I was really upset. And I think it has something to do also with the level of being able to let go. And I think it's good to tell people that this is a real possibility. You could still feel pain, and it all depends. Anything is possible. And I think people need to understand that anything is possible, but we're aiming for the highest intent. We're aiming for this, and you are no worse or better. And what I found was really helpful to me personally. My best friend filmed the first birth. And in my head, there was like a war going on, and I was like, I was screaming. And my husband was the same opinion, because he was with me, like he was holding me, and he experienced what I experienced. But everyone else was like, no, you had like the most beautiful birth ever. And I was like, nah, and I was like, I was there, I was screaming. And they were like, no, you weren't. And I was like, I was there. And then I was like, I show you on the video. And I looked at the video, and she was right. I wasn't screaming. And it was really peaceful. But seeing that, and how my experience to the reality was so distorted, it was so different.
So interesting. Yeah. If you hadn't had somebody videoing it, you'd still be of the firm belief
Mm.
that it was this and actually the look on your face at the time was centered. Um, One of the things I've certainly found as a midwife over the years is that you get those women coming along for their second births, and they're so traumatized from the first one, and they've sort of picked themselves up and they've gone, you know what, I am not letting that happen again. I did not engage fully last time. I worked up till 37 weeks. I was too busy to read the books. I didn't watch the videos. And their regret is actually coming mostly from the perspective that they didn't really do their homework.
Mm.
Um, and I sort of say to women, if you get to that point in your pregnancy that you can put your hand on your heart and know you've done everything that you can do to set your baby up to have a non-dramatic, non-traumatic, non-emergency birth. Well, if things go a little bit pear-shaped, you can know that you're not going to blame yourself.
Mm.
And
Exactly.
go, I did everything I could possibly do, and this is how it was meant to be in the end. And that really is it sort of relieves the woman of that feeling that they did something wrong.
Yeah.
Because if I think that to answer that Katie's question, with hypnobirthing, if you've got people coming along who are looking at hypnobirthing, you're probably already speaking to the converted a little bit,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Yeah. So look, that is just wonderful.
Yeah.
We're really out of time. We've gone quite over time,
All
and
right.
there's so much more I'd love to discuss with you. But look, we might have to get Linda back another time. But look, I need to wind it up for everybody because we are getting way over time here. But look, I thank you so much, everybody, for coming along today. Without having an audience, it makes this pointless for us. And it's just neat to have you all here. And thank you so much, Linda, for your time.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. It was really amazing. And yeah, I was so excited to be here.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.